Okay, we're going to get started. Welcome to the School Planning Committee meeting of January 18th, 2023. We are coming to you from the Professional Development Room at the beautiful Blanche A. Ames Elementary School. Yay! The meeting is open to the public and ECAT will be streaming and recording. First item on the agenda are the minutes of December 21st, 2021. Comments, questions, edits? Okay, then I will take a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Actually have to raise our hands. Okey-dokey. Next item on the agenda, construction progress update. Walter?
Have Chris take us through the construction progress photo update.
Good evening, everyone. Running through the construction photos. The first picture on your left-hand side is, of course, a picture of the main entrance. I wanted to kind of give you kind of an idea of where we're moving to. So we have the construction fence moving into phase 2. That'll probably be one of the first parts that our site contractor is going to start on for the playground. Again, on the right-hand side, you start to see the old Parkview School behind you and looking at the new school. Some of the updates from when we updated the presentation, we had the safe school path top coat. We have the top coat connecting Lothrop all the way to Spooner Street. Wanted to show how great these pictures look. We have the cafeteria, number 2 on the left-hand side, the larger cafeteria with the millwork and the stage. And on the right-hand side, we have the smaller cafeteria, number 1, with the technology and all the furniture. Showing the front entrance, the building is clean, students are occupying. And again, the corridors moving towards central admin. We have the paint is touched up and all the punch list items. So far with the paint in that area has been completed. We have the technology on the walls, the tile, and of course on the right hand side we have the courtyard that is completed along with the fence, and it's also looking towards the central administration office. We usually have 3 different site camera views, but now we are down to 1 due to the focus is now on the old Parkview School. So you're going to start to see as the meetings go on, you start to see the demolition in progress. So on the left-hand side was the old site view, and on the right-hand side is our new site view, which is moving towards demolition.
I have a question. Are you gonna time lapse these at some point? Yes.
Yeah, it's already available.
Oh, awesome. But like a time lapse of it
No,
going
you
up
have to
and-
click, 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 click.
No.
Someone needs to do
You
that.
can hit a button and it'll do it for you.
Oh, okay. We need that.
You want it
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
keep
100%.
going.
Yeah.
Well, the new and then the
Yeah, we
takedown.
can send that over. So
Awesome.
all 3 cameras that were in place have a full time lapse video, so we'll
Yeah.
grab those.
We need that.
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right, share that if
Yep.
you're able.
And then
Thank
we'll do
you.
one of this demolition of the Parkview School.
Yeah, that should go on your website.
Yeah.
The links are on the website right now for the live cameras, so you can click them and
Click,
see it.
Yeah.
We'll run through a quick cash flow update. Billed to date is 71.6 million. MSBA reimbursement to date is 28.2 million, with 2.39 million pending MSBA audit. You can see the graph. We are slowly approaching our MSBA reimbursement cap of 34 million. We will probably get there in the next 2 to 3 months. Just so everyone is aware and remembers, 95% of the estimated max grant amount. Once that's hit, MSBA stops reimbursement. The final 5% is at the completion of closeout MSBA audit. So that's a minimum of 10 months from December 20th, from substantial completion. So December 20th. So minimum of 10 months from there.
Minimum.
We will put it in as fast as we can, but sometimes it does get out of our hands. We will continue to press as long as we can and as hard as we can to get that reimbursement.
So Walter, is that 34 is including that final percentage 10 months later?
That bump right there, yeah, that flat green line,
Yeah.
that is the estimated 95% amount. So I believe it is about 32 million right now, is the estimated, and we're at 28.2. We have a lot of FF&E reimbursements going in, which is about 1.8 in reimbursement. So it's gonna get there very quickly.
Sure.
Over the next couple months. Construction look ahead. For phase one, we have some very light millwork that needs to be completed. Lighting controls remain to be completed. Pivot doors are actually in. Those are completed in the time that we put the presentation together. Exterior caulking around the building is ongoing. Exterior caulking on the sidewalk will likely be part of phase two when the weather breaks a little bit. Signage is ongoing within the building, and then punch list completion. I think everyone saw we have contractors in the building pretty much every evening right now until almost midnight. Moving forward, it likely won't be till midnight. It'll probably be till about 10:30 or so when custodians are in the building. On phase two, which is the demolition and abatement, abatement is in progress. Great Builders and Banner Environmental are working through that right now. Non-traditional work plan is in place. Demolition is anticipated to start 1/23. We had a note in here that it may start as early as 2 days ago. It did not. We are working, Great Builders are working on obtaining their demolition permit. They are coordinating with town building department to make sure they have all the paperwork and their sign-offs. So they need sign-offs from water, electrical, gas to make sure all the utilities are capped before building will give them sign off to start demolition.
Walter?
Yep.
Sorry, when you say demolition, you mean actually taking down the walls?
I mean actually taking down the
So
walls.
has there been work going on inside the building?
There has been abatement.
Okay, so it's been being abated this
Yes.
entire time?
Yes,
Okay.
so abatement needs sign off from
Yep.
their hazmat controller,
Mhm.
DEP, they have that, they're working on that in the building.
Following the plan that they submitted?
And then once clearances are met and signed off, which is part of those utilities, then they can be signed off to do demolition.
Okay, thank you.
Do they have an estimate of how long demo's gonna take, or are they just sort of?
3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, yeah, it's quick. It's actually right here on the page, 1 second. January 9th to February 3rd, so just under 4 weeks. Not a big building, so they'll be in and out of there.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Can I ask a quick question
Yeah.
about the phase one work that's left? And I would imagine the answer is yes, but just for members of the public who may be watching.
Yep.
How does the work that's remaining in the punch list get prioritized? And how do you decide what's most important?
We do not decide that. It is all on a list. The list was turned over to Great Builders on January 3rd.
And they
and
prioritize?
it is their job to complete that list.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking that is I just wonder if there are things on that list that are perhaps more important from a priority sense of what educators need in order to have the building be functional, and
Yeah.
those items, can those get bumped to the?
Those certainly are relayed to us
Okay.
on a daily basis by superintendent, principal, assistant principals,
Talk today.
teachers,
Okay.
and they are then relayed immediately to the
Right,
contractor
that's what I
and handled on pretty much a nightly basis.
Right.
So we
Thank you.
yes, we get those emails and those are turned over immediately. So following demolition, site work would begin, so excavation, and then grading, and then playground and site improvements would follow. Contingency update, so we have executed, I believe, 10 change orders at this point in time. We are going to the, select board on Monday for a change order for the wastewater treatment plant, so that is captured as pending on this chart right now. But change orders to date were, when this was created, 1.39 million, had pending changes of 73 million with current exposure of 575,000 with an available construction contingency of 1.7 million. Remaining in soft cost contingency was 1.26 million, and then bid savings 9.76 million. We were at as of today 87.1% complete time-wise, with about 13% remaining to get us to the April 28th date of substantial completion for phase 2 for the entire project.
Can you just repeat that? We've been getting tons of questions about that, and I just want to make sure it's not passed over on the recording.
Yep.
Phase 2 estimated date of substantial completion for site work is,
Phase 2 contractual date,
yep,
April 28th, 2023.
okay, thanks.
Do want to add into that, that,
I always say summer,
yep, for the fields,
just to be sure.
there are a requirement for 2 growing seasons. So the fields will not be able to be utilized. They do need to have 2 full growing seasons. So spring and fall, they'll be needed to make sure that the grass can grow, it gets established, and that the warranties will then be maintained throughout.
So it can be used as of spring of 2024.
As long as they hit that date. As long as they have a full establishment period in the spring and a full establishment period in the fall.
Ah, so summer wouldn't be great, because they'd have to go through the fall and the spring, and then it would be the following year.
Correct.
Okay, good to know, thank you.
So it is important that they
Very
hit those
important for
dates.
planning. Thank you.
Yes, yep.
Okay,
So I think that's everything on contingency right now. We do not have any discretionary PCOs for the committee to review. FF&E IT budget update. We have been working through this on almost an hourly basis. So right now on the right, you're gonna see a remaining uncommitted of the $3 million that was allocated. So originally, we had the original allocation and then the additional allocation that brought us to the $3 million. Currently at $13,396 remaining. That $13,396 is representative of everything in yellow. You'll notice that 2 items on there do not have costs associated with them yet. One of them is an add and the other one is a credit. That's for the CAF2 projector integration. So not the installation of the hardware, but the integration of that hardware into the system. So cabling, programming, setting it up. We bought it with one company. We need to. It's being completed by a different company, so we need to take a credit back for that. That's in the works right now with our furniture and technology specialists. There have also been some additional requests on furniture that are not captured here because we don't have full pricing yet. One of those requests is for additional walk-off mats. So I think as everyone entered the building, you saw similar to what's right here, walk-off mats, large format, some smaller formats outside the gym on some of the terrazzo locations down on the first floor for additional areas for students who come in, their feet are wet, or staff, before they go into the gymnasium or other various areas. I think there was 7 bought and there's an additional 9 requested. But we have that, we're getting that pricing. We'll bring that to the TRC for their approval. And then there's been some other miscellaneous items that are being coordinated, a couple extra file cabinets, a couple extra desks. So on the right, you see the remaining $75,000. That is just a snapshot from our project budget. We have not allocated what's in yellow into our project budget yet, even though it's represented here. It just hasn't been awarded yet through the select board and through contracts. We don't edit the budget until we have an approval. So that's why you're seeing the difference between the remaining on the left and the remaining on the right. Don't think I have any. David, was there anything else on IT budget that I'm missing that you had, or Alicia?
Not that I know of.
Go over. I don't
The only
think
thing I was familiar with was the mats.
Yep. But everything else is really going well there. Working through all the punch lists on those. That's down to very few items. So we're in a good spot on all those.
So do you think you'll still have enough money without going over the $75,000 contingency that's left?
So there's only, right now, there's only 13,000 left. I think we're gonna be tight up against it, but there is a lot more money to be allocated, pending a discussion, pending this committee's vote. The select board just needs to be authorized to be funded out of either soft cost contingency where we took the 900 or out of the bid savings. So plenty of money available, just not in that bucket right now, just needs to be voted on. My anticipation is we're gonna be over it, but I just don't have a good sense on how far, and I don't wanna give you a number that doesn't make any sense. I'd rather get all the information for everyone and have you guys take one vote on it at one time. Wastewater treatment plant construction closeout update. As of last week, we have we have kind of halted, or not halted, but we have stopped our weekly construction updates. Construction at the wastewater treatment plant is complete. Very, very small punch list. Anti-siphon valves are actually the only thing that need to go in over there. Closeout activities are ongoing over there, so substantial completion requests from the contractor should be forthcoming. O&Ms, warranties, as-built are being provided by them. And then PMA and Perkins, Stantec, and the contractor, Rogan, are going through change order documentation completion. As I said, we're going to the select board on Monday evening. I believe the change order is about $40,000, maybe $47,000. That's going over to them. We have a couple outstanding items to resolve with them. It's really being done via email, so no issues now. Not much to, it's kind of a small building, so it's operating. Dave, anything that we're missing on wastewater? No, it's running. So, happy to have that running. So I think that's everything the PMA team had. Perkins team, do you guys have any new business you want to go over with the committee?
So,
Now,
I'm sorry, can I
Can I just
interrupt?
make one comment? It was
Yeah.
my first day with the students in the building today. Oh my God, it's my favorite part of my job. So we were like walking around at the end of the day. There was a kid jumping on the astronaut feet as he was walking down the hall, and there was a kid, they were all dismissing down the ramp, smiling, just moving along. One kid's like, "How did they build this?" Like, so many. I had to resist being like, "How do you like your new school?" Like, I didn't want to talk to them. I was just observing. I don't know. It felt wrong. They don't know me, right? And they don't know who I am. But I just want to say that it's like
Some strange.
Doesn't stop me.
yeah,
Some
some
lady.
lady.
How'd you get in?
Yeah. But anyway, just want to share that it's one of my favorite parts of my job is seeing the building being used by the little kids. The pre-Kers were going out to play when I parked and walked over to the trailer. So just sharing that, one of my favorite parts of my job. So it's exciting, and I hope they love it.
They do.
Lots of smiles on their faces.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So before
Everyone
we
feels that way.
continue with the meeting schedule and new business, we're going to go into executive session in a minute to discuss something, but I just wanted to give Erin and Leisha and Ann a chance to let us know how it's going.
Okay, so 17. Okay, so it's going very well from the student perspective. They're super excited. We're very excited. The staff is still unpacked. I mean, you can see, right? And actually, I think this is a perfect visual of why we're looking at summer for tours, because I know my office looks like that, and a lot of classrooms still have things in the back, and we're just a little at a time trying to get everything unpacked and going, because we have, of course, kiddos from morning till afternoon for staff, and they're putting a lot of their own time in here, doing this on their own time as much as they possibly can. There are just so many minutes in a day. So we're getting there, and I think that, when phase 2 is done on April 28th, and we are all set, we will be planning some really fun things for the summer. In terms of using the building, we have little snafus here and there. They're still working on lighting, things like that. So those of us that work at night, the lights will go out every 15 minutes. We have to put it back on. But it's nothing insurmountable, and we look around and are just so happy that we have this even to work in. So are there things? Sure. Did we anticipate them? Absolutely. Are they going to go away? Of course. So those kinds of things. Our biggest issue right now, and of course I'm going to let Erin and Ann chime in, is traffic. And we've tried really hard. Sam and Erin have sent out multiple communications. We have parents that still are complaining about waiting very, very long times in cars. I've been out there. We had a traffic engineer out there. I'm still waiting for some notes from him, and they're out there every day. The very first day of school, the dismissal was about an hour. The second day of school, it was cut almost in half. Dismissal now from the first car, from the first student walking out the door, because kids leave at 3:30, not a minute sooner. That will never change. It's always 3:30. It's never 3:29. It's always 3:30. And from the first student walking out to the last car leaving, It is 17 minutes. The middle school
Yeah.
is 13 minutes. I've watched them myself. I timed the middle school. So when people are saying they're waiting an hour, that's because they're still queuing at 3:10 and kids get out at 3:30. It's actually creating a big problem for us because, and this happens at Richardson Olmsted too, which is a big problem because at Richardson Olmsted they queue through the parking lot, which makes it unusable for people to try to get in and out because it's still a place of business. We are working very hard on this communication piece. We're asking for you to help us communicate this. I'm hoping tons of people will watch this and spread the word. What happens is when someone shows up, if students are dismissed at 3:30 and they show up at 3:15 and the queue is all around the parent circle at BA and all the way up to Columbus, they say, oh my gosh, I have to come sooner next time. That queue creates a false sense that they needed to be here earlier, and so more and more people are queuing there. It's a problem. The most they would have to wait if they just came at 3:30 is 17 minutes. And if they didn't want to wait 17, they could come 10 minutes after at 3:40 and wait 7. This is simple math. We've observed it. There is not a car in that loop 17 minutes after dismissal. So I'm not sure how else to explain that. I literally, in the rain, freezing, individually knocked at people's doors on their car. And they cracked their window. They're like, it's raining out. I'm like, I do, just give me 1 second. And, and genuinely wanted to know, listen, we're really trying to work on traffic here. Can you help me understand why you're here 55 minutes before dismissal? And the answer was always the same. If I come later, I'm way out there. Yeah, that's because the people yesterday when I knocked at their windows was here. Now they're not here and you are. We need you to trust us that if you're not here, this goes fast. This goes very fast. So I have to commend the staff at both schools. They've changed the entire configuration. They are really on it and holding to what they're supposed to do. And most parents are as well. The problem is we have different things cropping up. For example, we have parents who will park at Richardson Olmsted and come and pick up their child on foot as a walker, go to Richardson Olmsted, leave, instead of coming through the queue. We'll have people who will, I have an individual case I won't say because it might be identifiable. We have people who will actually park at the school and not come pick up their child, like in the case of the middle school, and have their child walk over and meet them there. That's problematic for us only because we have crossing guards. And so we try to have them at our pinch points based on whether they're walkers or not, and then it gets convoluted. We have people that for the middle school are now lining both sides of Columbus, which is, it's not on our campus, but it is a problem for parents and it's definitely a problem for residents. And again, there's not a need to do that because the kids in that school will never walk out the door before 2:30. So lining up at 2 doesn't do anything except create problems. So we have the problem currently at RO, EMS, and Blanche Ames. We're trying to communicate it over and over again, in person, via email, at meetings. We could use help. It's a trust factor at this point, if they would just trust us, but we need everybody to trust us on the same day, because when they don't show up and someone else does, they're like, you lied, but it's like, we're there. I am telling you, it's 13 minutes for the middle school, it's 17 minutes for Blanche James. And that's getting littles in the car, buckling them up, and leaving. It's a very well run, even though this is our temporary solution. So that could, dare I say, it will be even shorter when we finally have the full path open. But when that happens, that's gonna be a queue that goes all the way around the building. And if people queue all the way around the building, that limits anybody from entering, exiting, or parking. I'm in and out of this building all day long. And I can never get in if it's anywhere near, I don't know if people think I'm like cutting the line or like there's just, it's not happening. I have to circle the block like 3 times. It's really counterproductive. So I don't know if anybody has ideas for that. We certainly, again, would love your help in sharing it. If you ladies would like to share your observations or anything that I.
Yeah, that's 90 cars. I
Yep.
counted it today, so it was
Yep.
90 cars. I do thank parents who show up later. I go out at about 3:25 and I start at the very first car and I walk all the way down past EMS and all the way down Columbus, and then I come back up and then we start calling cars and the kids have their names, but the process now is working really well. Once I get that projector up in the cafeteria, it'll be even better. But it's working really well and the kids are just getting used to it. And I think parents are actually, like, as I'm walking up Columbus now, they're like, all right, it's moving, like this is working. What do you think?
And can I just add the projector, because we have people with walkies outside.
Yep.
They have placards on their car and we say, Jared Smith. And then they come out of the cafeteria and they're right there.
They go to a cone.
And now we're gonna put it on the monitor as well. So that's why we're looking for the projector.
It's already up on the monitor.
Okay, good.
So yeah, so it's both, and then they go to
Just
a cone.
because
and they use the
I'm
mic.
not sure if you know what she means by projector.
Yeah, so the projector has the kids' names on it, they see the list, the teacher on duty calls, the student hears their name, cone 1, card 1, they go line up at 1, 6 students then come out and line up at their cones,
like
they get
Disney.
in their cars.
Awesome.
And
It's
it's
just like
working,
Disney.
and
It works
it's-
there, right?
It's training, you know, like even adults, what to do, what do you think, Ann?
Yeah, it's a lot of kids and they're little. So, yeah, it's training. We have good systems in place. The other part that's a challenge is we don't know all the kids, because we only know a third of the kids depending on what school. So I'm looking at someone and asking them their name, and you can't always understand the kindergartner when they're telling you the name.
They were looking for siblings today. We stood up on the second floor and kind of watched, because we were like, what's
Yeah.
happening here? We saw the 1 through 6s, and we kind of, and I said to Dan, I was like, feels like that took about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So when you said 17, I was like, oh wow, yeah.
Right.
Because we saw the buses in the gym, they were
Yeah.
all lined up, and then we were watching the calf.
Yeah.
And they were like, where's so-and-so's brother? They were like having a harder time
Right.
putting the siblings together to get picked up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a solution, we have a solution planned for the students also, right?
Right. Putting tags on their
Mhm.
backpacks so we can quickly identify kids. So it's.
And the wayfaring has been great.
Yeah.
The first few days of school, I was there helping with intake, and kids would walk in and they're like, I'm in kindergarten. Okay, are you a frog or a duck? And they're like, a frog. So I'm like, that's this way. So it was working right away. Very,
It's
very well.
amazing how quickly the kids
Yeah,
have
they're.
found the right. The adults have a harder time.
They're very resilient, that's what
Yeah.
they're very resilient, and they love it, they love the ramp, they love the ramp.
Yeah, so I was the first few days standing right in the front door when the kids come in. And the first day, obviously, and we had a plan that all first and second graders would go up the ramp, kindergartners, from drop off. About day 3, and I would just say, you all set? Do you know where you're going? And most of the kindergartners needed help. The third day, a kid looks at me and goes, I've been here before. Like, all right, you got it. No, none of them need help now.
No,
2
they,
weeks in, they all know where they're going.
From the
Not
front-
adults, but kids.
I saw every child walk in. I'm sure every mom probably left really worried. Not one tear, not one concern. They came in excited, like not even one exception. I thought there's gonna be 1 or 2, none.
Yeah.
Super
Kids
excited.
have done great.
they love it.
That's great. Thank you so much for letting us know. Okay, so we're going to go into executive session, then we'll come back out and we'll go through the schedule, the new business, and anything else going on. So at this time, I'm going to, yes.
If we could just, I think you mean 2023?
I do, sorry.
We'll get there, Caroline. You can
As long
edit
as
a
it's
little
not
later, okay?
2024.
Yeah.
It's been bugging me.
Sorry. Thank you.
So I'm going to make a motion to enter into executive session, and we will return to open session for the purpose of discussing the deployment of security personnel or devices or strategies with respect thereto. And in my opinion, having this discussion in public would be detrimental to the security of the Blanche A. Ames Elementary School. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so now we have to do roll call. Carlson,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Fulgenetti,
Yes.
Cabral,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Weintraub,
Yes.
Sobri,
Yes.
Bamosi,
Yes.
Helen,
Yes.
and Wiseman is yes. So, you guys shut the camera.
that everyone should
That
go to
would
town
not-
meeting, which I
okay.
appreciate.
Yeah, it's fine.
Encouraging all the parents to go support the project.
Will be a great wealth of information to your neighbors at that meeting.
I'm introing. which
You consider doing it
Lori.
as a year?
Lori. I need to go home, I'm tired. Lori,
It'd be nice.
the professionals present, like meeting, because she's paid by the town.
Back to the Easton School Planning Committee meeting. Walter, anything else?
Next meetings for the school planning committee will be February 15th. I apologize, the year is wrong, 2023. March 15th and April 19th. Those are all the third Wednesday of each of those months. PMA does not have any new business for the group, so we can turn it back over to Jackie and anyone else who may have new business for the committee.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just have one question,
Sure.
which is we probably have covered it, I just want to make sure. We had that one sort of orphaned random septic tank that we found,
Resolved.
The
Yep.
second.
tested.
Yep.
That's all done, there's nothing else, mitigation is completely fine, everything's
With
fine.
that piece, yes. Yep. When we haven't found anything
That was
else. So when I
very
said
specific
Yeah,
clarification.
yeah. With that, we are resolved. We have phase 2. We don't anticipate finding anything over there, but
Oh,
that
no, I mean, but that one specifically, like.
resolved. Yep.
Okay. Filled and
emptied
whatever else.
and flow fill.
Got it.
Yep.
Flow film and backfill.
Yeah, I remember it being mentioned, I just want to make sure I remember it
Which
correctly.
is
Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments, questions, anything?
Said mine earlier.
Okay. Then we are done. I'll take a motion for adjournment. Second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. Thank you all so much for coming in person.